Okay, so here is my 90-day review of me going through the things I have presented in the 30-day life transformation tracker and allowing myself to go through the path that following that structure has led me to. I have found that as I started, just like yourself, if you've done the 30-day tracker, that the first part was more about alignment and making sure that I was grounded, there was that alignment and that clear direction in terms of where at that particular moment in time I needed to move towards. And then once that was established, what I noticed was that there was this transition into more of the execution part of this path, which has to do with executing the plan and going through that process. And so, what's been pretty neat as I take a look back at these 90 days is the fact that I feel that I know myself better than I did back then. So, that was an interesting thing to experience as naturally every day I get to reconnect with the process, myself, through that time of introspection in the morning. And the other thing that was pretty neat is in terms of my purpose. I feel that its articulation has evolved over time, and I feel that at this point I'm much more and deeply connected to my purpose. I feel that it almost feels like a deep remembering, and that's pretty cool because I feel like I'm connected to my purpose in such a way that feels very unique and so much more grounded. So that's something that I've really enjoyed experiencing. And the other thing has to do with not feeling so much like I'm flying blind as I'm looking to execute my plan in the direction of my 1 year goal, which by now you should know it has to do with lifestyle goals. Well, a main goal that will impact my lifestyle, myself personally, but also my business. And that whole process has been pretty neat to experience along the way. So those are some of the things that I'm experiencing right now. The other thing I would say in terms of my this stage is that remember what I've shared before, going through the valley of doubts, having the patience to wait for tangible results. Now is where I'm starting to see some of that spark. Those sparks are happening. I'm seeing little results here, and that's the exciting part because that's the thing that I was waiting for all along. And naturally, because of that, I'm feeling even more motivated. I feel that whatever I've been doing up to this point, I need to continue doing it. At the same time, what I've realized during these 90 days is the fact that I stayed open to the idea of being flexible and patient and course correct along the way based on the feedback that I would get through that path. That really has made a difference. The other thing is recognizing that my spiritual connection is really everything. Because it is the reason, well, it's what I feel is there to guide me, to direct me, and is always there for me, especially when I need it. So that's one of the things I've realized. The other thing in terms of breakthrough for the 90 days, I would say, just this ability to be able to, again, just adjust along the way and stay mentally strong. I believe that's the biggest thing. As long as I find a way to, and that's strange in a way. As much as yes, there's the execution part, a big part of being able to navigate those 90 days were for me to remain mentally strong. That's why I always have that time in the morning. And that's why I also do that monitoring throughout the day, just to check in with myself as well. And and remember, and on top of remembering my purpose, is also remembering why I'm on that path. That has been huge in helping me just stay on the path and have faith that as long as I put in the work, the tangible results are going to come. So that's the one thing that I've noticed. The other thing worth mentioning, let me see if I don't forget anything. Oh, yes. So, in terms of my contribution, because we are here to contribute in some way, this 90 days has helped me identify my sweet spot. And what I mean by that is how in which way I am meant to make a contribution in a way that's unique to myself. And that's something that I would never have been able to guess at the very beginning, because at the beginning I could only have an hypothesis and of how I thought I would be helping people. But along the way, again, with the feedback, it's helped uh, narrow put that focus lens in focus, so to speak, and the path is getting clearer and clearer. So this is what I'm noticing right now. And you probably remember in the tracker, when it comes to the review, there are these different categories like a spiritual connection, your connection to your purpose, things like that, and rating them from 0 to 10, from 1 to 10. Well, for me, my markers are at 10 when it comes to the most important ones, and some of them still high numbers. We're talking eights. 8 out of 10, which those are more some of the areas that are still progressing. As I mentioned, realizing my sweet spot, for instance. So those are the items that naturally are in progress and that will always be evolving. But the main ones like purpose clarity, connect my spiritual connection, things like that, these are at 10 and it feels amazing. Same with the one around alignment, same thing. So that is a good place to be. Now, the next thing, let me see here. Oh, the thing that was pretty interesting as I was executing my plan along the way, I find that, especially towards the end of the 90 days, the work became almost more, I guess maybe in parallel to the execution of the plan, became more about identity. The evolution of my identity, where my identity was at that point, and also stepping into this new identity that would match the outcome that I'm looking to reach, but also, well, the person that I need to be in order to reach that outcome. And speaking of outcome, the thing that has been interesting to also see is that along the way, that one outcome that I had for myself for a year from now, I found has expanded. And the way I see it is that along the way, as my brain was getting all this feedback that what I'm doing is working, and also the fact that I've been diligent in focusing on recognizing my small wins, because that showed me the progress that I'm making as opposed to just focus on the outcome and not seeing the outcome yet. That has made a huge difference. So as my brain realized that, hey, as long as we're doing this and now that we're getting better at this, we can expand this goal. As I was very comfortable to expand the parameters of my goals for a year from now, I naturally, since I did that, now there was a misalignment with the identity that I had at the beginning of these 90 days, right? Make sense? So I had to think of, okay, well, if this is the new outcome, what is the identity that I would need to embody to be able to align with that and that would help me reach that? So I went through a little exercise of enhancing the identity that I had at this point. So that was an identity checkpoint that ended up happening. So that was pretty cool. And so this is what naturally happens, I'm seeing on this journey when we are so intentional about it and we take the time to document all these different elements that, again, you can refer to in the tracker. And if you have any questions around that, just let me know. You know how to reach me by now. So that's the one thing I noticed. And the other thing then, so I've talked about my purpose, my spiritual connection. And in terms of the things that I feel were really helped with making some of those shifts. Number one, the consistency of me executing my plan. Day in and day out, I would always do something. So that was key. The other thing was my ability to stay mentally strong even when it was tough. I've shared some of these moments with you already. I'm going to share some more, of course, in future communication. And actually, well, speaking of one, I can address one right now. One of the things I noticed was that as I was not seeing these tangible results, because of it, I started to stress. I didn't realize I was stressing I only realized it when I noticed my unhealthy habits coming to the surface. I love sweets, and one of the things I realized is that I would end up buying more sweets. More trips to the grocery store to get sweets, because that was my way of coping that with that stress that I was experiencing. So I was able to identify my unhealthy stressors and habits. And since then, I've been able to fix that. I'm going to talk about it in another email here. But those are some of the things that I noticed, and is the benefit of literally documenting this journey and checking in with ourselves, see how we're doing. And that's why I said at this point, I know myself so much better than I did at the beginning of this whole process. The other thing I would say was, let's see. Well, I think I've addressed all of that actually. And maybe the last thing I'm going to add when it comes to that is the ability to course correct. Along the way, all the feedback that I would get from executing the plan and the way the market is responding, the way clients are responding, prospective clients are responding, people I'm throwing ideas out there and are willing to give me some feedback. The fact that I was able to be open to that and course correct along the way, because at the end of the day, I really want to help the people that I feel I'm meant to help. So any kind of feedback I can get that again is going to help me to realize, well, what is my sweet spot? What is it that people need? What is it that people don't need? And that I want to know. So I feel that that has been huge. And this is a never ending process. And the more feedback I get, the more I'm able to enhance what I'm able to deliver to people as well. So that works out well. So I would say those are, the main ones, and just continue improving my processes along the way and always going back to that. Now, what's next for the next 30 days for myself? I'll say that I need to maximize my time that I do know. So I need to double down on that. And then, just continue doing what I'm doing and just doing it better. Continue to offer value to the people who are on the receiving end, to continue sharing my progress, just like I'm doing now with you, and really just continue enjoying the journey. It's so much fun. It's so much fun to be on a path that you know is yours. It's so much fun to know that you're growing on that path, that you're learning so much about yourself, and to see those results, come along the way, and know, especially at this point, know that it's just the beginning. So that makes me really excited, makes me excited to continue on this path. It makes me excited to see what's going to happen, in next year when it comes to that goal, and just be able to look back and see everything that I've been able to do. So that is my 90-day review as I got to use the 30-day life transformation tracker and just being diligent with it. And for me, that was a fun exercise because, again, I can see the progress that I'm making, and it invited me to reflect for myself of, what has happened and where am I not, and just do that check-in. So I hope that this is valuable for you. If you have any questions, just let me know. But otherwise, I will see you on the next video, and definitely in the next email here. If you have any questions, as usual, let me know. And I would love to hear from you if you have any insights from this. If you're feeling any particular way, maybe it's inspiring you, you're feeling excited, maybe you just want to share where you're at on the journey, let me know. Whether it's through replying to my email, whether it's commenting below, let me know. I will talk to you soon, and keep at it.